Greetings. Welcome to this Belhaven University APA Formatting and Style Guide. I'm Dr. Wilkins. I'm the Chair of Graduate Education, and I'm going to walk you through the minimum requirements that you need on all formal assignments that you submit in the School of Education. First, some general guidelines. All of your submissions need to be typed, double-spaced, your pages need to have 1-inch margins all the way around, and you need to use 12-point Times New Roman font. Plus, you need to use regular standard size 8.5 by 11 paper. Now, you may occasionally have some assignments that do not need to follow these guidelines, but they will be clearly indicated in your course. Examples are the course gives you a worksheet or a template that you need to complete, then you just need to complete it. Also, your discussion forums do not need to follow APA formatting as far as having a cover sheet, but they do need to follow formatting as far as citing sources within your discussion and giving the reference at the end. Here's the first thing you need to look at. When you're setting up the page, Word formatting or word processing programs have an add space after paragraph automatically in there for you. You need to disable that. Here is a sample single-space document, and you notice that there is a break in between the paragraphs. That is done automatically, and you don't want to do that. You also need to know how to insert a page break. Single-space document, the space is very obvious. But now, if you look at a double space, the extra space is not as obvious, but it's still there. The sample is showing you a triple space between paragraphs, not a double space. So how do you disable it? I'm using a PC as my example, but Apple computers, Microsoft computers, Macintosh, not Microsoft, follow the same format. So first, highlight the text. Highlight all the text on your document. Click on this line setting in your toolbar, and you can see the arrow is pointing at paragraph and it's pointing at the line setting. Then you click Remove Space After Paragraph. When you click that drop-down button, you will see at the bottom of the list, Remove Space After Paragraph. Your document is now ready to go. What if you have a document and you want to make sure something starts at the top of the page no matter what you do anywhere else in the document? For example, your reference page needs to start at the top of a page always. If you don't insert a page break and then you go back and do some editing in the document, your title reference will most likely not be at the top of the page. So how to guarantee that it's always there? Again, put the cursor where you want the top of the next page to start. So if you've typed the word reference, put your cursor right in front of the word reference. Click on Page Layout and then click on Breaks. One of the drop-down items will be Page Break. So click it, and now the word reference will always start at the top of a next page no matter what you do before it. So now some general guidelines for when you submit written documents. Every essay has 3 major sections. It has a title page, it has the main body, and it has a reference page. So here's an example page. Every page of your essay needs to include a page header. This is the title in all caps in the upper left-hand corner, and it needs the page number in the upper right-hand corner. So you can see on this example, APA example paper, all caps in the upper left corner, the page number in the right corner. Notice this is page 2. Page 1 is the title page. So here's how you create the title page. The running head, the word running head, you notice it was not on page 2. It appears on the title page only. And you need a shortened title. It's all caps. It cannot be longer than 50 characters. The page number needs to be flush right. You start with the number 1, and the page number does appear on the title page. You are double spacing everything, so skip down 15 single space lines. Now, because I'm double spacing, I'm not hitting enter 15 times. I'm only hitting enter, 7 times, 8 times? but it's double spaced, and I start typing on line 17. Do not label lines 1 through 15. This is only for training purposes. The title is centered. It starts on line 17. If you have a long title, break it into 2 centered balanced rows, and the title is double spaced. The title is not bold. Then you put your name, do not give a title or a degree, and then you give the affiliation, which for this purpose is Belhaven University. So that is the title page. Now we're back to the main body. Remember, you include the page header and the page numbers. Notice the word running head is gone, and be sure that you're set at Times New Roman font 12. Most word processing programs go automatically to Calibri. You need to change that to Times New Roman. You have 1-inch margins, top, bottom, left, and right. You indent your paragraphs 1/2 inch. You are double spaced, 12-point, Times New Roman. And now you need to use your citations. In-text citations help the readers locate the cited source in the references section of the paper. And whenever you use a source, whether you're direct quoting or indirect paraphrasing, provide the author's name with the date of publication in parentheses. Here's an example. Underwood and Findley, parentheses 2014. I've now given the author's name and the date of publication in my sentence. Here's part of a paper. Highlighted in yellow, we have one example of a citation. Highlighted in blue, we have another example of a citation. In the yellow, you say the author and then the date. In sample number 2, you have an author and a date and a page number. The difference is, if you have a direct quote, you must include the page number from the source. If you are paraphrasing, like the yellow section, you do not use a page number. Note, do not cite the same author more than once in the same paragraph without having another author cited between the duplicate citations or having your own reflections, original words, comments, etc. in between those two citations. You do not have a paragraph where you continually cite John Jones said, John Jones said, John Jones said. That is not academic writing. For quotations and close paraphrases, give the author's name, date of publication, and a page. And here's an example. The first example shows how you make your statement, and then you give all of the citation information. The second one is when you start with the author's name, and at the end you give the page designation. Notice the page number is after the quote, but before the period that ends the sentence. Keep the citation brief and do not repeat information. If you have given the author's name and year of publication in the text of your sentence, then do not put it in the parentheses part. Notice that Carruth is already stated, the date is already stated, so at the end of the quote, all you need is the page number. The second example, you've never told us about Carruth, so everything goes in the citation at the end of the quotation. Now the reference page. Notice references is centered. It is not boldface. It just says references. You have the last name, the first initial, period, date, period, the name of the article, and only the first word and the subtitle are capitalized. The name of the journal and the journal number is in italics. The issue number is not in italics, and page number is not in italics. Authors are listed by last name first. You put them in alphabetical order. And if it takes more than one line, you use a hanging indent like I'm using in this sample. So remember, you're still including the page header, you're still including the page number, you are labeling the page references, it is not bold, it is not underlined, and it is not in italics. The hanging indent is for all lines after the first line of every citation. You are listing them alphabetically. Now this example doesn't look alphabetical, but then I'm not giving you two authors, I'm giving you two statements. Now a reference list. APA is a complex system of citations. When you compile a reference list, here's a following strategy that you might find useful. First, identify the type of source. Is it a book, a journal article, a web page? Use the APA Publication Manual 6th edition to verify your formatting, or as a help, Belhaven has created a quick guide. To find the quick guide, click on Help and Resources in Canvas and then select Academic Help. Find something that matches. Find a book that matches your book. Find a journal article that matches your article. Find a web page. Find an example and then mirror it. Where they have a comma, you put a comma. Where they have a period, you have a period. It needs to be exact. Make sure that your entries are listed in alphabetical order and make sure you use a hanging indent. Invert the author's names. That means you put the last name first, followed by the initials of the author. For example, Smith, J.Q. Capitalize only the first letter of the first word of a title and subtitle, the first word after a colon or a dash, and proper nouns. You don't capitalize anything else. If the word is hyphenated, do not capitalize the second word in a hyphenated compound word. For example, here is a title, The Perfectly Formatted Paper, How Belhaven Improved My Essay Writing. There should not be a period after that title. That is a mistake on my part. But notice the word the is capitalized, the word how is capitalized, Belhaven is a proper noun, it is capitalized, nothing else is capitalized. Capitalize all major words in journal titles. Italicize the titles of longer works such as books and journals. For example, we've got our two authors, we've got our date. Noticing the title of the book is in italics. Strategies is capitalized, teaching is capitalized, nothing else is capitalized. Do not italicize, underline, or put quotes around the titles of short works such as journal articles or essays in edited collections. Now what about quotations? You always need to use a signal phrase such as according to Hammond or Anchor argued that. You must always introduce your quotation with some type of signal. You can use signal verbs such as claimed, asserted, acknowledged, contended, reported, argued, etc. Use the past tense or the present perfect tense in your signal phrase because you're discussing past events. Hammond is not arguing right now as I'm reading his paper. Hammond argued in another paper back in 2014, so past tense. Now for specific questions regarding formatting, consult the Belhaven APA Quick Guide, consult the APA Publication Manual 6th edition. Again, to find the Quick Guide, click on Help and Resources in Canvas and then select Academic Help. You will find it in the top left-hand side of the screen. I hope this quick review of APA formatting helps you in your studies at Belhaven.